WrestleMania. What the heck? I was singing the song. Get low, get low.
With my sharpshooter hanging on his leg. I thought he was going to sing. I mean, this is iconic. It's that stuff that we was talking about in the playgrounds, you know. Did he touch one foot on the floor, causing arguments with family and stuff like that? Great wrestling.
Hello, wrestling fans. We are the Gimme Whole Year Wrestling Podcast, which you already know. If you've been watching us for ages, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support on recent videos. We hope you've been following us on FaceB. That's Facebook for all you post or pre-millennials. I don't know. But yes, thank you for following us on our social media. Thank you for supporting the channel. Here we are, Royal Rumble 95, one of the
Rumble.
What the heck are you, a pirate?
I'm a Vince McMahon.
Oh, arr! Me hearties. This was one of the greatest Royal Rumbles of all time, in my opinion, in terms of two superstars doing particularly well, but we will speak...
That's really awesome, because I think it is one of the worst Royal Rumbles of all time, and I can't wait to go through it with you.
I think it's fantastic.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's great.
There's loads of pay-per-view debuts in this episode, so if you enjoy that aspect of the podcast, we've got a lot going on. Pamela Anderson. Did you do any research on Pamela Anderson for this episode?
Over
when
the years,
I say research,
over the years, Anthony, I've done considerable research on Pamela Anderson.
Have you? Is that with Tommy Lee?
Yeah. Well, numerous platforms. She's been in her own movies, you know.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just different kinds of movies.
Barbed Wire.
Barbed Wire. Yes.
Is one of them.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. So have I. Pamela Anderson. Much respect. If you happen to be watching the Give Me a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast, we welcome you and your delightful eyes to our channel.
Viewing platform.
January the
22nd, 1995. Let's take you back.
What were you doing in
What was I doing? I went to cinema to watch Legends of the Fall.
Cool.
I didn't, but that was the UK #1 film at the time.
Well, that's lying. You shouldn't lie on the wrestling podcast. The Give Me a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast.
I lie all the time.
You lie all the time?
UK #1 song. Are you excited?
I don't know if to trust you. What's it going to be?
It's Rednecks. A Cotton Eye Joe, Cotton Eye
Joe. Oh man,
that
was amazing.
So I
don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Was this like
Cotton Eye Joe? I've been married a long time ago.
Was this
Where
like
did you go? Hang on a minute.
Go on.
Where did you go from? Where did you go? Where did you go from? Cotton Eye Joe. I don't know the words. But
No, it's good, man.
So much fun.
I don't know if that's like an American song, if American people know it, but like it's like based on an American song, isn't it? But American like red cowboy.
Still mint.
Whenever
great.
people used to dance to it, do you remember like in a disco, you always used to like go arm in arm and go around with someone else. And
I didn't do
blah.
that. I just.
You just stood in the corner drinking.
Bounced around. It was great.
You bounced around.
I did.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
I still do.
A limo comes down at the start of the Royal Rumble with Pamela Anderson in it, and she is treated to a group of wrestlers, including Mabel, the Heavenly Bodies, Doink the Clown, Tatanka.
The early debut of Mabel's more recent, bless his cotton socks, one of the most incredible performers in terms of an all-rounder. But this was the debut of his. He had a gimmick that wasn't too dissimilar to Mark Henry's sexual chocolate gimmick. Yeah. What was he called? And he had the finish of Visagra. Maybe this was the early days of that. You know.
An early Joey Ryan.
Vince McMahon saw that, and he was like, years later when he still had Mabel on the roster, he was like, I'm gonna take that Mabel that saw Pamela Anderson, and I'm going to turn it into a sex.
Well, it looked like there was all on heat, man. I mean, it's a really weird segment, but she was stunning, man. She was absolutely stunning.
Do you mean Heat, the early 2000s terrible TV show that we had to wait up to 4 a.m. to watch, or do you actually mean
Sunday Night Heat? As in sexual heat.
Sexual heat.
That's what they were feeling at the time.
Why? Yeah.
Announcers for the night were Jerry the King Lawler and Vince McMahon. So let's get straight on with it with the Intercontinental Championship. Jeff Jarrett with Road Dogg versus Razor Ramon.
Indeed.
If you have seen the podcast before, you know we like to talk about debuting wrestlers. Debuting wrestler here, not in a wrestling capacity, but as a manager of sorts.
Indeed,
Road Dogg, the Roadie.
He
Jesse
does get
J.
involved. He gets involved and he clips the leg in a rather big turnaround point for this match. But the Roadie works currently BG James as BG James in TNA. I do apologise for rushing ahead. He currently works as a producer in WWE.
On SmackDown Live still, is he?
On SmackDown Live.
Yep.
He was BG James from 2002 to 2009 in TNA wrestling. He was also obviously most notable for his time in D-Generation X during the turn of the millennium.
With Bad Bottom Billy Gunn?
With Bad Bottom. Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Well done.
Thank you.
I was totally about you got it wrong.
I know he was about to say it. I know he was about to say it.
You two. Yeah. So yeah. Basically, you know. So he had these. He's had a wonderful run. Most notably as well. Recently, in recent times, he actually came back and won the tag team titles for a sixth time. In January, I think of was it 2017? They won. They won the title. Or was it 2016?
I think maybe 2015.
Or maybe 2015.
Yeah.
Well, they beat the Cody Rhodes and Goldust, so yeah, it would have been
2015.
Cody Rhodes and Goldust for the first WWE Tag Team Championship in recent times.
Cool. Sixth time.
Six times. He also did the 2018 Hall of Fame this year to conduct his buddy, who we see him appear here with, Double J Jeff Jarrett.
Yep.
I've never seen him called Jeff Jizzle, but I thought it'd be fun. Thought it'd be cool.
It was fun. It was really fun.
Down with the kids.
You are down with the sickness.
So that's a nice segue to the match itself. But yeah, a lot of time for BG James.
And as we mentioned before, in his relationship with Jeff Jarrett, at the Hall of Fame speech, he sang the song, but he actually recorded the audio for the song.
My baby tonight. Yeah, there was a Bring My Baby Tonight. There was actually an angle where they actually ended up fighting because...
no, I don't think it ever happened.
No,
it was due to happen.
I'm sure it did.
No, he left. I think Jeff Jarrett left before it was able to happen. But the idea was for that to happen.
I remember there was something about it on television.
Right, okay.
I do remember seeing it. He was.
I thought he'd gone before the feud.
Jeff Jarrett had left, but I know they still did something on it. They still referenced it.
Right. Okay.
They did still reference it.
Cool.
And he was given a push on a result of that. He also had time in Smoky Mountain Wrestling and World Championship Wrestling as well.
Did he?
Yeah. It's a weird one. He had a couple of runs, but nothing too significant there. And he also did World Wrestling All Stars too. Interestingly enough, this raises an interesting question that I wanted to ask you, and I've wanted to ask you for a long time. Segueing away from the pay-per-view, so we'll try not to go too in depth. Who was the better of the New Age Outlaws in your opinion?
I don't remember enough of them. Like maybe once we go back and watch it, I'll have a difference of opinion. Road Dogg was always the hype man that I remember, and I think that's probably why I preferred him. But I don't know if that's time thing.
As a technical performer, Road Dogg. As a performer, as sports entertainer, Billy Gunn.
Right. Okay.
Billy Gunn is that times Dolph Ziggler. I feel like he was underrated and incredibly talented. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler took the famous from him.
I mean, he's not really done, because Billy Gunn is in this pay-per-view as well, like with these smoking guns. Yeah. Like, there's still not. I wouldn't say that I'm captivated by him at the minute.
No. But Billy Gunn had loads of success. Yeah. I think more than.
And still in the independents today, still showing up. He was in the All In Battle Royale.
He was in the All In. He was fired. Just going back to Billy Gunn, like, because obviously, BG James has obviously kept his role. Billy Gunn was fired, I think, as a result of a drug test. I think we talked about that before. He was a producer on NXT.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Straight into the match then. So we get a nice choke slam from Razor at the start of the match from JJ.
Good.
Yeah, man. Razor doing a choke slam.
Yeah.
The sort of
it was a bit like a rock bottom sort of choke, like a weird. Like,
he sort of goes down with him a bit.
They have it on 2K, don't they? It's like not quite. It's like a choke slam.
They have like 20 choke slams on 2K, yeah. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see someone else using that move than the Undertaker, and it works with Razor. Actually, it looks really good doing it. And Jarrett was really good. I don't like him at all. I used to hate him. I've never liked him. As a child watching the product, I'd hate Jeff Jarrett. And actually, when you watch him now, he's like Jerry the King Lawler. He's so good at that humility and taking, having a laugh and a joke with himself. And I respect that more these days. And I think wrestling's evolved to that point where people now love The Miz, and it's that same sort of thing. People like The Miz because he's able to make a mockery of himself.
He's very similar to that, except I just don't know, maybe it was his, I don't know, it was something really silly. I just didn't like his hair and his attitude.
Yeah, I didn't like his hair, but watching him in the ring, I'm like, actually, you're great. You are really great. And
he's
this Razor feud is really good.
He came into his own in TNA because obviously he ran that. And
I think probably his arrogance.
As a world champion, he became notable more in TNA.
And,
But I never liked him.
I really like it. And
in WCW as well, he was quite notable too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I just think, rewatching these back, I'm getting a newfound respect for Jeff Jarrett in terms of, like, going back. You're not. I thought he did a really good job here.
He was carried, to be honest, the Road Dogg added to his character.
Absolutely.
Owen Hart later on, Owen Hart was carrying Jeff Jarrett for a long time. Obviously, that's a really, dangerous thing to say to pro wrestling purists from this time, I suppose. But he wasn't an entertaining character. China carried him as well for a bit. He was doing.
I just think he's great.
He was doing stuff with China for a while.
I mean, I think he uses the strut a little bit too much and stuff like that. But I think, like, in terms of selling in the ring, he was really good, and I found him really entertaining.
Not a fan.
Jarrett rolls out of the ring and gets refreshed by the Roadie, who mops his forehead with a towel. Road Dogg proper gets into this character, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
And it's brilliant the way he does it. So he's like kneeling at points outside the ring, as a Roadie would, where they're unseen, unheard, with a towel anytime he can to mop Jarrett down. He really invested in this character. And I remember watching an interview where he would watch the road crew setting up the shows and that, so that he'd understand how it was working. And he pulls off a Roadie really well. Like, running across the ring, dropping something and then getting out is a road crew for a gig, it's great. I feel like Jeff Jarrett did a little bit too much strutting in this match, as I sort of said. Jarrett was really good at selling the humiliation as his groin is pulled into the turnbuckle.
That was good.
The crowd hate him, the crowd cheer.
Looked pretty bad, that as well, didn't it?
But that's what I mean. He was good at selling. He was such a good seller. In the same way that, not as good as DiBiase, but in that same sort of sense, I watch it back and I gain a new respect for these sort of characters. Jarrett tries every heel trick he can, using the ropes for leverage on a pin and that sort of stuff. Rosie takes out Razor's legs on the outside, and he's counted out for the loss. Quite an early way to lose the match. Jarrett takes a microphone and calls Razor a coward for losing that way, and that Jarrett doesn't have the IC title yet. Of course, he can't win the belt if Razor's eliminated by countout. He tries to get the crowd chanting chicken, but the crowd really don't go for it, baiting Razor back into the ring. Razor limps back into the ring, and the match is restarted with Razor immediately overselling the log that Road Dogg's injured. Really nice little story. Nice little story.
Yeah,
entertaining.
well done.
Obviously, JJ then targets the leg.
Yeah. And I think the Roadie helps him with that too.
He did, yeah.
Clips him.
It was hilarious, man. It was so funny.
Whenever people do that, I always think, oh.
It was just the way he was quickly passing stuff. I just loved the Roadie, man. I thought
he's a better character. To me, he's more of a legend than Jeff Jarrett is, personally.
Okay, cool.
I know that's
I don't say the Roadie is. I'd say Road Dogg, yes, but I wouldn't say Roadie as a character.
The whole
what it later became.
In terms of a legacy, yeah.
He locks Razor into the figure 4 leg lock, and for some reason, I've noticed this a lot recently. I don't like it when a ref counts a pin on a figure 4 leg lock. They've done it a couple of times. They did it in World of Sport, I think, that we watched.
If the shoulders go down, how could
they not? But whose shoulders are down? Because they're not really on top of him, pinning them, are they?
No, with the thing on the 4 leg lock, you've always got the person doing it who's always up.
I just don't really like it. It doesn't feel like. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a pin. Anyway, I've noticed it a few times. When he calls for the Razor's Edge, the crowd go wild, like DDT levels of excitement with Razor Ramon. He was taking what Jake the Snake did really well and sort of expanding on it, and the crowd were going crazy for it. They were never chanting Razor's Edge. I think they could have called it something better than Razor's Edge. Had they had a short name.
It was called the Outsider's Edge in WCW, which is also...
It's a bit naff. It's not a chanty thing,
I can't think of anything else.
Even Edge? Edge could have got the crowd chanting. The crowd aren't going to chant Razor's Edge, you know what I mean? In the same way that the chant for DDT, because that was always exciting from a crowd point of view when the earlier pay-per-views was watching. when he has JJ up, his knee goes, leaving JJ to get a small package and gets the pin on Razor Ramon. I mean, that's really clever storytelling.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not what you expect, because normally when the heel baits the guy back in, the good guy wins, and that's him getting his win back, you know. And JJ wins this match. I thought that was quite clever. Normally, the heel arrogance gets the better of him in them sort of circumstances. I really like the heel work of Jeff Jarrett in this match, and the two had worked a lot of house show matches at this point. There was constantly working, and you could see in the ring they knew each other, they knew what was working the crowd, and they did a good match. It was a really entertaining heel versus face match, and I think it's one of them that you could go back and watch as sort of not as a wonderful, not as a great match, it's never going to be the greatest match in the world, but in terms of a heel and a face.
Yes.
Really good.
The dynamic
really
was
nice.
excellent, yeah.
Todd Pettingale is in Pamela Anderson's dressing room.
Todd Pettingale annoyed me.
Oh, he was a bit weird in this. Over to Todd. He's in Pamela Anderson's dressing room.
That was probably the career highlight of his whole thing.
I think that'd be one of my career highlights if we ever end up in the dressing room with Pamela Anderson.
How on earth would that happen?
I don't know.
I'd hate to think.
I don't know, but we'll find a way.
Anthony, you are not endearing our audience by saying these things.
I am endearing.
You always do this.
Endearing.
You're like, we will find a way. That's creepy. You are creepy. You're a creepy CLB.
I'll accept it, man.
You're a CLB. Where you just have to go back and you just have to go back and watch like the later matches of Christian to find out.
Can't wait.
Watch the interaction between Stone Cold and Christian, and you will know what I mean.
Okay, fine. So Pamela Anderson is showing off all the presents she's received from the wrestlers. We've got a piggy bank from Goodwin, a T-shirt from Lex Luger. Still the narcissist face, weird. A picture of Shawn Michaels. From Shawn Michaels, of course. It was quite funny. It was quite good.
Yeah.
There's lots of flowers there.
Playful. It's playful. I mean, Pamela did all right. Do you know what I mean?
But
she didn't really
Pettingale was just all over the place, man.
Yeah, she didn't really have to do a lot. You know, like a lot of, you know, in terms of, she just had to...
What did she have to do?
Well, she was just...
Show up and flutter.
And just be Pamela Anderson, and everyone just kind of loves her anyway, which is great. Yeah. You know, like some people have to really work to endear themselves to a crowd.
Yeah. Do people still love Pamela Anderson?
I think people still love and respect Pamela Anderson. Cool. Yeah, she does a lot of activism these days.
Does she? Awesome. I know she did a bit of reality at one point, didn't she?
She did.
Cool. And then an interview with Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Like the celebrations begin, and he's on his way to see Pamela right now. Ain't I great?
I just don't like his promos. He just annoys me. Like, I'm sure if Jeff Jarrett was watching the Gimme Your Wrestling podcast, obviously we're avid supporters of his World of Sport produced, or his former, you know, he produced a little bit.
I like Jeff Jarrett now. I think he's great.
I
think he's underrated, man. I think if you go... I hated him. When we saw him in that match against Doink, I was booing Jeff Jarrett. I now realise that I was booing Jeff Jarrett, and that was actually really good work to get me to boo Jeff
exactly.
Jarrett. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand your point. I understand your point.
IRS with DiBiase versus Undertaker with Bearer.
You don't agree with this, but I think this is our IRS's best showing.
No way.
Yes, it is.
No way.
Yes, it is. But you're right.
Boring,
you're right.
Man.
It's because he's with the Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, oh, right, okay. No, because he had a good match. No, he didn't.
Exactly. Move on.
The only thing certain in life is death and taxes. That was the whole idea of Vince McMahon for this feud.
That's a great band name, you know, Death and Taxes. Maybe we should use that for a band name.
Yeah, we're going to start a band. Give me a whole year band.
Yeah, call it Death and Taxes.
Awesome. Awesome. Obviously... I don't think this was a good idea for a feud. This was Vince McMahon thinking that the whole death and taxes thing. But the whole taxes thing was just rubbish anyway as a wrestling gimmick, wasn't it? Really, let's be honest.
But surprisingly, granted him a surprising level of longevity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He went to WCW with the same gimmick but a different name. Like he had a long career and obviously incredible family legacy.
Yeah, as well as the work that he does backstage as well, you know.
Any chance I get to mention my favourite wrestlers like Dolph Ziggler... And Bo Dallas. No, Bray Wyatt. Did you see on the most recent that terrible 2K19 video when
with the Rusev announcement
they
thing.
referenced
Yeah,
Bray
awful.
Wyatt, and he was just like, I don't want to talk about it. I was
Oh,
like,
it
what
was-
are you doing?
oh, man.
It's about time they acknowledge it. Like, I think one day maybe
Yeah.
he'll be part of the new Wyatt family.
Anyway, let's move on. So this was part of Undertaker's feud with the $1 Million Corporation, so IRS is obviously part of that, and it leads to a wonderful match against Undertaker versus King Kong Bundy at next WrestleMania. So join us for that. If you subscribe to the channel, we'll let you know about it.
WrestleMania. What the heck? I was singing the song. You gotta sing the songs with me.
No, I like
It's like being the elite. You stop singing, and I like singing, and you're stopping me. You don't do it with me.
But I don't know the song.
Well, I don't know. You just bob and you do the melody.
I let you
I'm
do it. And I get
enthusiastic
ready.
about the songs.
It's good. I like your enthusiasm.
And you just leave me hanging.
I'm sorry.
Stop
I'm
it.
Sorry. All right, I'm
Stop
sorry.
it.
All right. There's a lot of talk of the Druids, the $1 Million Man.
I just can't stop thinking about All In every time you mention it. Every time someone mentions the Druids now.
You're gonna think of the
is it the
phalluses?
Is that a thing?
Phalluses is fine. Yeah.
All In, genitalia.
Great. Sorry, All In happened this weekend. Sorry if you're watching this like months in advance.
Yeah. And there was some genitalia when Joey Ryan was resurrected, and they've obviously taken from this and numerous other times when Undertaker pulled out his druids.
Yeah, Joey Ryan's resurrection.
That was great.
This is hilarious, man. There's a lot of talk about the druids, which $1 Million Man has had on his side because he can buy death. He can buy his way out of death. That sort of storyline. It's a bit rubbish. IRS has repossessed the gravestone of John Doe. We're told by Vince.
Just remember the opening of that where he gets the opening thing where he just raises up. When he's on the bed, Joey Ryan. Yeah. Sorry. It's just great. It's very fresh in my mind. That's not something I think about a lot, but I imagine a lot of people do think about Joey
Ryan, a great wrestler. If you haven't checked him out, type into YouTube or
I bet it's on YouTube. Type in the resurrection of Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan, All In, we'll sort you out. This match, right? But we're on to the match. It's no more Joey Ryan. No. It's slow. It was
It could have been better. IRS's clotheslines look bit meatier here. Undertaker sells them better than anybody else I've ever seen sell them. But he doesn't have to do two of them.
Undertaker the non-seller.
He has to do two of them. Undertaker did sell them the stealing of the urn was clever to keep the longevity of the feud.
We get the old school Undertaker before he goes after DiBiase. IRS tries to attack him from behind, but nearly hits DiBiase, leading to them arguing. That was quite nice. Nice little sidestep from Undertaker. Like, how did you know he was there? He's got the dark side for him.
You're quite nice.
Thank you, dude. DiBiase gets out the Druids, two grown men dressed as in black KKK outfits. And speaking of KKK, we've got a really I've got a real good story about the debut in wrestling.
The outfits, that's not a KKK outfit, and we can't. Why are we referencing the KKK on the Gimme?
They're a thing, aren't they? The Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, there's a thing, but we don't need. Why are we referencing them?
Because that's what they look like.
No, because the hoods are black.
Yes, exactly. But it was like a black version of a white Ku Klux Klan outfit. What do you want me to say? They look like Casper the Ghost with a sheet over the head, but it was black. That's what the Druids wear.
It's all going Pete Tong. Who's a daddy DJ from the UK, if anybody knows where that comes from.
IRS uses the distraction, but Undertaker catches him with an uppercut. Undertaker goes for old school again, but the Druids knock the ropes. Undertaker falls off.
Yeah, the Druids have probably their most relevant WWE
later on with the Ministry of Darkness.
Well, Druids, but they make more as in the nameless Druids, the Druids that have no name or have no reason to be there aside from being Druids and being all.
It was me. Oh yeah, that's that is not more relevant than that for a Druid, is it?
Yeah, great.
Undertaker ends up outside the ring and shoots the KKK dudes, but they use it as a distraction and they end up attacking the Undertaker. Did you just spit out your tea?
No.
I wrote that down as well. IRS ends up missing a splash as Taker sits up. That was quite cool. That's okay. Then, as both men are down from a double clothesline, a druid puts IRS on top of Taker. Taker picks IRS up for the tombstone, but the druids distract. Taker gets a choke slam and the pin. Yay! Undertaker wins. Really not the best period in terms of ring work, and not a very good period for the Undertaker, man.
No.
What are you laughing at now?
Everything's like I just carry on.
It's wrestling.
Talk about the urn.
Yeah, but 93 to 95 is like a really. It's sort of a time of the Undertaker which cemented that sort of darkness, but. The matches, man. I have been so unimpressed with the matches so far. Like, so unimpressed. I get that it was over. I get that it was exciting. I think he's much more exciting later on. Even from, like, Ministry of Darkness onwards, really. I'm looking forward to continuing watching Undertaker and see the point that we get to. Because Undertaker had some of the best matches ever, you know? I mean, like Shawn Michaels.
I'm sure
wow.
This up-and-coming one at the Australian Super Show will be riveting. With Triple H.
Wait.
I mean, God.
He's lucky that his career didn't rest in peace. Like, this could have really killed his career. The matches were of a constantly sort of poor level, in my opinion. And like just watching them back, like it was only the character that people were excited about. You know, it really was.
100% the character.
The Druids attack Undertaker. Sorry, the KKK.
Will you stop? The Druids
attack the Undertaker.
Undertaker's completely neutral, not racist in the slightest. Druids.
I've got a racist wrestler later on to talk
Why
about.
Are we doing? Why?
Because it's our
You
racist
two,
episode.
You too.
They'll be fine with it.
It's not our racist.
We're talking about history.
Oh my God! OMG!
Wrestling
Anthony.
history.
Anthony Nayland.
Wrestling history.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
IRS steals the urn from Bearer as Bundy's attacking the Undertaker. Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah, Bundy comes in,
setting
setting up
Bundy
a feud, and they steal the urn. IRS steals the urn.
I missed reading that because I got excited talking about Druids.
Flipping heck.
Flipping heck. The hype man, Paul Bearer, works up the crowd to get the Undertaker to sit up. I don't know. What do you want to do with me?
I don't know.
It was a good match to talk about. Do you still like the match? You'll never watch a match in the same way, I tell you.
Man. I don't know what to say to you. You're so annoying.
Sorry. Big interview next with Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He's preparing for the match and won't make any comment. Great interview, thanks. Next up, we have a Bret interview. It's his moment to recapture the championship. All he's thought about is winning the title since losing it at Survivor Series. Bret did a really nice promo here. It was one of them Bret promos that was really real, and it looked like he was
on point for sure.
Yeah,
he does,
really good.
Like I say, he's a bit hit and miss. I'll admit
he can be.
Yeah, he's a bit hit and miss, and he does a really good job here. I actually really.
It feels real.
It's the only Diesel match.
It's a great Diesel match.
It's the only Diesel match I rate.
Okay.
From what
it's the best Diesel match I've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
So
same. Carry on.
So, a nice entrance for Diesel here. I wrote a lot because there's a lot to talk about in this match. There's a lot that goes on.
Yeah.
A nice entrance for Diesel here. So, there's a glass video screen with a truck on it. The truck comes out and it's the grill coming up. And it's not a video screen. It's actually white painted glass, I would presume. And it smashes. It's a really impressive effect, man, especially for the time. Costly, you had to buy a pane of glass and smash it, and it was impressive. It would have been cheap, and then Bret also had pyro, and Diesel had pyro. They were really selling it.
There's a data tech that you think about these things.
I love stuff like that, man. I love it. I love the evolution of technical performance within.
Within what?
Within WWE.
That was a Rick Mail. What you doing with Rick Mail? What was that about?
No, it's just that excitement, man. I get excited.
Oh, you mean like a proper Rick, as in like you get aroused?
No, I don't get aroused.
He looks like you do.
Oh, you! Why do you always ruin this podcast? Oh my God, I'm retiring. It always turns into blah 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 with you. Just whinging for no reason.
Carry on.
The two lock up, but Diesel pushes him off. The early story... What? What was funny about that, man? You're in a right creepy mood today. I like it. He pushes him off. Yes. Since you've arrived at my flat today, you've been nothing but creepy.
It was, This makes a change from you just being creepy all the time. Do you know, Anthony, when I answer the door, he usually presents me with his bum. Don't know if you remember.
Welcome to the Gimme a Holy Air Wrestling podcast, and this is my bum.
Yeah, literally, I open the door and I can see his big hairy bottom. And anybody ever seen Ace Ventura? He talks with his bum cheeks. It's a bit like that. I'm serious. I'm not even... And it's not a thing. I don't enjoy it.
Valentino.
He doesn't do it because I enjoy it. He just does it because he's weird. So you want to talk about creepy...
But he keeps coming over.
But. Lol.
Ba-bum. The two lock up, but Diesel pushes him off. Laugh.
What?
The early story is that Hart moves don't have as much impact as they normally would, but he can get out of the way of Diesel's moves. Really good sort of technical wrestling aspect from it, and showing Diesel as a powerhouse again.
Yeah, man.
Bret, the massive heel. It was interesting actually. Bret was pushing the heel boundaries here. Wrenches Diesel legs on the turnbuckle. We've seen that before. It was one of the things that was okay for Bret to do, even though it was a normally heel thing.
Real vicious attacking of the leg too.
It was very early on as well.
Angry,
normally in a Bret Hart match, the leg attacking comes later on to set up.
I mean, I know you talk about it a lot. It's a very common thing, but some real vitriol.
Yeah, man.
Some real angry leg thing. Yeah, there's a band called My Vitriol, which I recommend everyone check out from the UK. And that's what I was like, Vitriol's a great name.
It's a great name.
And it was applied to that band, and I really like that band, and I also like the name. I like the word vitriol, so I thought I'd use it. Carry on.
Thanks. Bret locks Diesel in a figure four, and when Diesel gets to the rope, he refuses to let go.
Get low.
With my sharpshooter hanging on his leg. I thought he was going to sing.
What the hell were you doing?
I don't know, man. It feels really desperate of Bret. It feels like he's almost... How far will Bret go? It's an interesting story.
Some really good moves. Like he pulls out some moves that we don't normally see, like a wicked flying clothesline in this. Some nice moves. He's very vicious.
He was, yeah. Diesel feels like he's getting dominated until he Irish whips Bret into the steel steps outside. A really great sidewalk slam.
Nice.
Like from Diesel. He almost carries Bret in the air with him before landing. It was great. Really devastating. Two
of the best sidewalk slams in the business. The number one is Kane. Kane's a sidewalk slam.
Right, cool, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Always really good at it.
Diesel holds Bret over his shoulder with Bret on his back. It looks like he's going for the jackknife, but instead he holds him there for a while into submission. I don't really get that.
That's weird.
Like, if you're going to do it, you go for the jackknife.
Yeah, weird.
I don't mind the move, right? If it was someone else, but if it's Diesel, go for the jackknife. I didn't really like that storytelling. Diesel had an awesome standing elbow drop, and again, I write it down because it looked awesome, and there was some really good stuff. Bret drags Diesel's legs around the turnbuckle and uses tape to tie Diesel's legs together. We see him do this later on as well in pay-per-views. So Bret can continue attacking him. That heel face thing.
Very heel move, yeah.
It's such a well-told story, this entire match in the ring, and Bret is doing everything he can to try and get the advantage. And he has the advantage for most of the time, but Diesel can take more than Bret can deliver, and that's a great story. It's a great face-versus-face match, really. Diesel nearly gets a pin, but Shawn Michaels comes in to attack Diesel. He specifically targets Diesel's knee. Really
good for their dynamic and their feud. Yes, was really good at setting this up.
And the ref says the match must continue,
which is odd because you wouldn't normally get that.
You wouldn't normally get it, but it's a championship match, and it, again, storytelling wise, it's quite exciting.
For Backlund to come in.
Yeah. Bret wraps Diesel's legs around the rope and again refuses to let Diesel go after the ref has finished the count. Again, great. Using it again. I love it. Diesel tosses Bret with a gut wrench suplex. The height on it, nice. Really impressive. Bret wraps Diesel's leg around the ring post again. Like the repetition, but it's clever repetition. It's clever storytelling. Really. This time he goes out and he grabs a chair and uses a chair.
Again, probably one of my defining Bret Hart performances of this era.
I don't know. I think the Owens is better.
Well, but in terms of the character, in terms of
it's clever. It's clever. And to work with a guy like Diesel, who I don't rate as much as Owen.
Not at all.
I mean, Owen and Bret were great because they were both incredible. And Diesel was good in certain ways, but I think he also needed someone to work with that made him look great. Michaels he worked well with, for example. Bret wraps Diesel. Yeah, so Ebner, the ref, lets it go. The fact that he's used Earl Ebner.
Earl Ebner. All's version of Earl Ebner.
Ebner. We don't say H's in Hull.
Carry on.
Earl Ebner. And the ref lets it go. The fans begin to boo Bret. Great. I mean, this is like it's Bret was good, and like when you look at this, like there's moments of like that Stone Cold match in it. The heel turn Bret versus face Stone Cold.
Fantastic.
I mean, this is sort of the early workings of it, I'd say, really.
I think he was. I'd hesitate to say that he was the most interesting when he was a heel. As a character, he did. Was in WCW and WWF.
Oh no, not WCW. His run in WCW was poor. The fans begin to brew Bret, and this is as Bret's locking in the sharpshooter. Owen comes out and interferes, Irish whipping Bret into the exposed ring post. He's had a storyline where he's been injured in the chest a lot recently.
Let's do it. Skibbity bop bop.
Al Ebner says match must continue. Bret rams Diesel's head into the unprotected turnbuckle. When Bret gets caught in the ropes, Diesel goes to use a chair. Is he going to use it? Is he not going to use it? But he refuses to go to the same extremes as Bret. Great storytelling, man. Bret pretends to have a leg injury before rolling up Diesel. Then Diesel knocks out Al Ebner by mistake. The ref by mistake. In comes Batland, Michaels, Jeff Jarrett, Road Dogg and Owen Hart who attack the man in the ring. The bell's rung. The refs try to take over the ring. Then they sort of get out of the ring. They all then attack again. The refs can't control the situation. Backlund. Diesel battles. Backlund gets Bret Hart in a crossface chicken wing because we just had that feud and we're going to move on. Diesel starts elbowing people, and then so we're left with Backlund and Bret after he sort of beat everyone else up, and he goes to help Bret, and then Diesel helps Bret up, and they both have a handshake. Great storytelling.
Nice, yeah.
Great.
Well, weirdly, I've not seen crossface chicken wing applied since this point until I watched All In with Marty Scurll. I didn't know it was his finisher. First exposure to him, and there you go. I always hate looking at it.
Yeah,
freaks me out. I think I've got you know when you look at something and you're like, I associate that crossface chicken wing with so much emotion, even though I've gone back and watched, but that actually being stuck in it and just getting emotional. Yeah. I'd hate to be locked in that mood with my hand tied behind.
Later on, I'll put you in a crossface chicken wing.
Don't you bloody well put me in a crossface chicken
wing. Don't you bloody well put me in a crossface chicken wing.
I'll tape your legs up.
Oh, mental.
Wait, that sounds weird.
I'll hit you with a chair. Todd is still hanging around Pamela's dressing room, the creepy little man. He's nearly as creepy as Dominic.
CLB.
CLB, apparently. She's getting changed behind a screen. The creepy little man takes off something, clothing, bra, maybe.
This was really well done, actually. It was kind of funny.
No, it was weird.
I thought it was kind of fun.
She needs a purse. Why does she need a purse when she's getting changed?
It was good for the audience. It was good for the audience. People,
but it makes no sense, Dom.
Because
she was getting changed. She didn't need a purse.
It's about tantalising people.
It's quite overly sexual. Do you enjoy that? But it is. That's what you're saying. All it is it's
very sexualised. Yes.
Yeah. And you enjoy that. You was happy with that.
Well, not at the time because I was about.
Weren't you watching it going, what does she need a purse for?
I was watching it going, this is irrelevant.
Arousing.
How did you find it, Anthony?
I was annoyed. I didn't know why she needed a handbag.
All right, carry on.
That's fair enough. You've got to think about the logistics of this.
You've got to carry things about with you to the ring.
Yes, but not when you're getting changed. She could have just, got changed and then got a handbag. It's a thing, Dom. It's a thing.
People get changed with their handbags all the time.
Yeah, but why did she need it? She wasn't going to pay anyone. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, maybe I've thought of a reason.
Maybe Todd Pettingill.
No, maybe. I'm not even going to go there.
Can we do that on YouTube? Is that a YouTube thing?
What's that?
Can you say it on YouTube or not?
No, I just think it's a bit gross.
Okay.
Why should you need a handbag? I've just realised a reason.
Oh.
It's clicked. Todd fumbles around for it. It's a bit. I didn't get it.
Fumbles around for what, Anthony?
Say again.
Todd fumbles around for what?
The purse.
Oh yeah. I just feel like I was going to try and make another joke and then I realised it would fall flat. It would been a bit gross.
Oh, well, there we go. Welcome to the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast. All of our female viewers will be enjoying this over-sexualised
they'll never come watch us again. Sorry.
That was awful.
It's been a long day.
Awful. 1-2-3 Kid is nervous, and Bob Holly says that they're finally getting the chance tonight. 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly
I love this.
Got into the finals of this tournament, and they're facing Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka with Ted DiBiase.
So I was such a fan of the 1-2-3 Kid at this time. I remember watching this back with my best friend and he was super excited too because I was excited about the 1, 2, 3 Kid. He'd never watched wrestling before, and he loved the 1, 2, 3 Kid because I was like so buzzed. We were like wrestling on our. We were, as you do when you're kids, we were wrestling with pillows. We were being like a tag team.
Wrestling with pillows.
And then when they, spoiler alert, won the match, I was buzzing. He was jumping around because he was excited. I was excited. His big brother,
awesome,
brother came in and beat him up.
I love memories like that.
Yeah,
Man. I love memories.
His brother came in and beat him up, and I was really sad because he actually really hurt him.
Really,
his big brother hurt him really badly. Yeah, and then later on, my best friend made me watch The Blob, which is and I still can't watch The Blob to this day because of that time.
The 50s horror film.
It's like they redid it, I think, in the 80s or
Did
something.
they?
They redid it or 90s. And I remember there was a particular moment where, because I used to be like, tell me when the scary bits are over.
Oh, he's such
and
a wimp when he's watching a horror film.
And I remember he waited for the scary bit and said, open your eyes.
Yeah.
And he was just eating
and you was
someone.
that daft. You went, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was so scared. But this all happened at the same time, on the same day, in the same evening. So anyway, carry on.
If you're enjoying our tales of our past and stuff like that, hit a thumbs up, man. It'd mean a lot. You're sharing your emotions and stuff. This is part of the Tag Team Championship match after Diesel and Shawn had dropped the titles after their sort of breakup. Holly and Tatanka start off, and although Tatanka takes the lead early on, Holly gets in with a hurricane and multiple dropkicks. A really nice hurricane.
Best, frequently referenced by Jim Ross and others as the best dropkick in the business.
It was good. And it was nice to see him with not X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, who also had a great dropkick.
Holly did have. I actually think his hardcore Holly gimmick was 10 times better than this. And that was when he really came into his own with the hardcore title and all that stuff. But still, evidence of his athleticism.
Cool.
Was massively in this, and it was probably, like I say, it was one of the earliest wrestling memories I have that has stayed with me because it was a great match, I think.
It was okay. It was good. No, it was good. It wasn't okay. It was good. It was good. I'm struggling whether this was the best match or the other one, but we'll name our best matches as we normally do at the end. Tatanka gets a tag on Bam Bam, and although it looks like Holly might get the upper hand on Bam Bam, he delivers a clothesline to both him and Kid that looked devastating. Bam Bam had a great sell, man. The way he did what Owen Hart did, he really took a bump.
Yeah.
And he really threw himself into it. Great. Loved it. Awesome move where Bam Bam, this is awesome, and it was replayed, and it was so good. Bam Bam tosses the Kid in the air above his head. The 1, 2, 3 Kid, because that sounds really weird. Tosses the 1, 2, 3 Kid above his head. He goes about 2 foot above him.
Yeah.
And then falls on his shoulders, and then drags him down in sort of a Hurricanrana type style. Wow. It was like 2 feet. I mean, it was so impressive. It was really good. It's a
what you want about
moment of the night. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Say what you want about X-Pac, man, but he was. I know there's this thing called X-Pac Heat, in later on in his career, but this time he was
really
white
good.
Hot as a babyface.
Yeah,
and also just people loved him because he was the underdog, and his athleticism. There's a moment, one of my favourite moves, and it's such a simple move by today's standards, but he does like a rolling flip. A front flip out of the ring, and I was just like, still to this day, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
I always wanted to be the 1, 2, 3 Kid. I always was, because he was so small but athletic, and he never gave up. And I like to think I adopted some of those traits.
Never give up. Do. That's what John Cena says.
Move on.
The rest of the match is Tatanka and Bam Bam dominating.
I don't want to see you.
You can't see me. Six moves of doom. Oh no, I'm doing it wrong. The rest of the match is Tatanka and Bam Bam dominating with a very occasional threat of the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Hardcore Holly getting back in it before being slammed to the mat.
Sparky plug.
There's a really hilarious moment where the 1, 2, 3 Kid does a drop kick to Bam Bam and he sort of gets stumbled. And then he grabs his head and just slams it on the mat. And then 1, 2, 3 Kid's body just sort of follows. It's really cool. I was laughing. Bam Bam pulls the rope down as Holly is running the rope, sending him proper flailing out of the ring. It looked really funny. Tatanka's the one who really slows down the match. I think that's my biggest problem with this match. Tatanka in it. He had quite a nice power slam during the match. Tatanka had a good power slam, but that is about it. The 1, 2, 3 Kid is out of position for the tag, trying to sell the how would you say it? Not novice. There were novices of the tag team division.
Amateurs, novices.
Amateurs, yeah. Fine, that's a better word. Eventually, 1, 2, 3 gets in and flies around the ring with an awesome drop kick off the top rope. However, Bam Bam eventually catches him, hoists him above his head, and dumps him out of the ring. And I love that when Bam Bam does that. And 1, 2, 3 Kid tells it great. Tatanka rolls the kid back in, and whilst Bam Bam climbs the turnbuckle, presumably to deliver his diving headbutt to finish the match, Tatanka goes to run the ropes, probably for a chop on the floor or something. Yeah. We don't see any more Tomahawk ups now. Now that he's a heel.
No more Tomahawking, which is sad, because I quite enjoyed the Tomahawk.
When he runs onto the ropes, this causes Bam Bam to fall off the top rope. He lies there dead. 1, 2, 3 Kid's dead.
Like a beached whale.
And the 1, 2, 3 Kid crawls over and puts his arm.
Puts the arm over. Nice. Brilliant, well done.
And the Underdogs did it.
They're super buzzed. I was super buzzed.
You were super buzzed.
Yeah.
Great title run as well. How long did it last?
I don't know the specific dates, but it was a brilliant title run.
Yeah, one day.
They had a really good go, I think.
One day.
I feel like those two came back as well.
Did they?
They came back as well as a team, yeah.
I don't know. But this title run was one day. They lost it the day after to the Smoking Guns.
I'm thinking of a different title reign.
He had another. Didn't he have another tag team partner at some point?
I'm sure they did it again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think so. Tatanka aside, I think the other problem with the match, I don't think they used DiBiase very well.
I'm still stuck on that. I'm sure they regained it.
Maybe they did.
Well,
but this is only one day.
We're going to find out.
One day.
We're going to find out in the future.
Lawrence Taylor's in the front row. Lawrence Taylor was, I didn't research this, I'm guessing is an American football player.
Retired American football player.
Was he retired at this point?
He was retired at this point.
Right, cool. Which is why he can go into WWE. WWE, I mean, American football is one of the biggest things. They were trying to there was a thing I was listening to, I think it was Bruce Pritchard, and he was talking about how WWE were trying to push the Super Bowl teams to say the Super Bowl teams, when they win, one of the guys will normally say something that sounds out of place, like an interviewer will ask them, how do you feel, and they'll say, we're going to Disneyland, right? And we're going to Disneyland is Disneyland, Disney World or whatever it is, like pushing them to say it, they're paying them to say it as advertising. And WWE were trying to do the same thing to get like an American football player at the Super Bowl to say, I'm going to WrestleMania. Yeah. Interesting story.
Wow.
It's clever marketing because it's watched by everyone else, and you get the guy to say it. Wow. So, yeah, Lawrence Taylor's laughing at Bam Bam. Stop laughing at me. He's quite bloody in the mouth, Bam Bam, on this. Lawrence Taylor goes to shake his hand, and Bam Bam pushes him quite violently as well, which was good, because it needed to be.
Yeah, say it really well.
Needed to be. He falls back on someone else who looked like they got absolutely crushed by Lawrence Taylor, and it sets up for a WrestleMania 11?
And I was about to say...
a main event.
A notable, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. New tag team champions, 1 day reign. Yeah.
Man.
We see last year's Rumble next with Shawn Michaels when he helped get Diesel out the ring. The camera angle is awful though, and you can't actually see Shawn Michaels getting him out the ring. The play on this, like, it's a big thing, and they've showed the footage and you can't even see it. It's weird. Yeah, and then after the show footage of Lex Luger and Bret Hart, because that was a sort of controversy the previous year.
Which oddly is kind of repeated this year. But
I think it's a bit soon for that, but we'll go into it at the end.
I didn't really think about it, because it's still one of my favourite endings. This one
it's amazing.
This one is a much better ending.
Yes, the Rumble. Awful. Yeah. Lex Luger says it's time for him to fulfill his destiny right here and now. 30-man Rumble. We have a lot of debuting wrestlers right now. So if you don't like this section, just skip over a few minutes. If you like the section where we talk about some really weird wrestlers and give you interestingly weird facts about racism and stuff like that, stay with us. No, man, it's cool. We're going to bash through them because we want to get onto the Rumble. And have another cup of tea. Have another brew.
Are we having another brew?
I want another brew, so we'll bash through them.
All right, okay.
Cool. Twin brothers, Eli and Jacob Blue. Also, they are twins in real life. The Harris brothers.
These guys,
won the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Championships as the Bruise Brothers, defeating the Rock and Roll Express. Quite a famous feud within that. Rock and Roll Express were massive in Smoky Mountain, weren't they? They would wrestle in ECW in some of the very early hardcore matches as the Bruise Brothers.
Bruise Bobbles.
Joining Raven's Nest as well, it was in. There was also both Disciples of the Apocalypse, 8-Ball and Skull.
Yeah, I knew that. I remember they came back.
Very different gimmick to this match. This match, they almost look like the sort of very neon outfits, and with I think they had kisses on the bums.
Different,
It looks like a prototype Billy Gunn, bad bottom Billy Gunn. Ended up in the NWO like anyone else that was in WCW at the time. Ron Harris, who was one of the brothers in 2003, started working with rapper and wrestling sensation Macho Man Randy Savage as his manager, his tour manager. And Don, who was the other brother, retired from the ring after a brief stint in TNA that they both went as bodyguards with Macho in, and started working backstage at TNA until very recently.
Yeah, I seem to remember they had like I said, one of them did better than the others in terms of backstage stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think I remember it being referenced because I used to watch quite a bit of TNA.
Cool.
Did Randy Savage have a rap tour? Like, did he tour?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
Wow.
Well, he had albums.
You're really interested to see if, like, there's some live footage somewhere,
I doubt it, because you would have seen it.
Yeah, maybe studio stuff.
Yeah, maybe studio. But even as a wrestler, he was still in demand, and having a tour manager, it was, people pay him the big bucks. Next up, we have Duke Droese.
The Dumpster. Yeah, I remember Duke the Dumpster.
Duke the Dumpster Droese. He began working the independent circuit with a garbage man gimmick. This garbage isn't something that Vince came up with. He was actually doing it prior to.
Wow.
Yeah, Duke the Dumpster Droese. He got a lot of attention in 1992 thanks to Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top 500 wrestlers. 1992 was the first year that Pro Wrestling...
Did he appear last?
You spoilers. Yes, he came last. And so when he used to come to the ring, when he came in WWF, people would chant 500 as an insult to him. Yeah.
There you go. That's amazing.
There you go. Yeah, I love little stuff like that.
I seem to remember him being referenced, but I didn't know about the 500 chant. That's cool.
There you go. He's in the WrestleMania 17 Battle Royale gimmick thing that goes on.
Yeah.
And after leaving wrestling, he became a teacher. However, he got in trouble with the law in 2013, selling strong painkillers to an undercover police officer. Whoops-a-daisy. I love little facts like that. Cool.
That's a lot of rubbish for him then, isn't it?
Tell me about Timothy Well.
Timothy Well.
Well.
I will tell you. Well. Indeed. Timothy Allen Smith, he passed away in January of 2017, unfortunately. He was known as his ring names Rex King, which sounds strange and like it should be in another industry. Rex King. Wrestling name.
I know what industry you're talking about.
Rex King. So Timothy Well was his name. He wrestled in several promotions, WWE, World Championship Wrestling. He was a tag team for much of his career with Steve Doll, who is Steve Dunn, who I'm also supposed to talk about here. So we'll kind of mangle the two of them together. Cool. He gained his first championship success when competing for Pacific Northwest Wrestling, and obviously had that tag team with Doll. They were first called the Southern Rockers, and that's and originally the Southern Rockers had a guy called Scott Peterson in, who never did anything great of note, but was replaced by King. The Southern Rockers went on to win the NWA Tag Team Championships. I think they did it a couple of times, and did pretty well in that respect. And also later on, they ended up reuniting in the WWE, and they was called Well Done, because they had Steve Dunn and
Tom Well. Yeah, that's quite funny, actually.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So they never really did too much of note in WWE context. They had a couple of they did okay against some jobber teams. They most notably feuded with the Bushwhackers.
With the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, that's the
right.
But they also had like losses to Men on a Mission and the Smoking Guns. They were part of a tag team tournament to win the titles, but they were
never
just kind of never did anything to kind of elevate themselves in that context. They again, sort of 1994 and this time, they were doing okay, but again, they were sort of enhancement for like the head shrinkers, and then the head shrinkers, I think, went on to become world champions.
They've already been world champions.
They had a couple of runs though, didn't they?
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah, they did. They did have quite a few runs with the titles.
Cool.
So they had this tag team tournament, and they were eliminated by. At this time, Bob Holly and the 1-2-3 Kid, of course, went on to the championships as well.
Yep.
Continued on feuding with the Bushwhackers in the legendary feud.
That legendary Bushwhacker feud.
Again, loads of stuff on Raw, but not really anything kind of notable. It's weird that, they had this weird kind of attire as well. They had the bow ties and the tights and stuff, and it was the sort of short tights that they were.
Yeah.
In just kind of odd, really. I remember just thinking, why is that even a thing? I'll move on to Steve Dunn as well, because that's kind of tying the two in. Interestingly enough, the most notable thing about Steve Dunn is that he was the catalyst in a weird way for the NWO angle. When Scott Hall debuted in WCW, Steve Doll was wrestling the Mauler.
Yes,
and that is how NWO started.
Yes.
Unfortunately, just like I say,
that's a big moment in wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
A massive moment.
It is absolutely. And unfortunately, they both passed away. And so the legacy of Well Done is kind of limited to those Bushwhacker feuds and also the NWO tie-in there. But like I say, nothing of particular note. But I have never worn a bow tie on WWE television. So both of them have done all right for themselves.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Absolutely.
Mantaur. I always thought this was the same dude as Bastien Booger.
I thought this was pretty funny. I remember Mantaur.
Bastien Booger, it wasn't.
No, I know.
I always thought it was.
No, I thought the Mantaur gimmick was funny.
Really? Didn't have a massive career in WWF, leaving by In Your House 2. We're moving on to the In Your Houses soon, which there's some good In Your Houses, there's some awful In Your Houses. And he went to ECW with a name Bruiser Mastino.
I don't even remember that.
Fans used to chant Mantaur still when he was there, just to wind him up a little bit. He had like shaved head with like ram ears here. It was pretty awful. He returned to the WWF later on, I think it was In Your House 7, I didn't write it down, to be a bodyguard for Goldust. And this character was rubbish, man.
Funny.
Okay.
Not great, but funny.
Okay. And would Damien a lot of rubbish as well, aren't we? Really, well done. I can believe. He also came back briefly as Tank. Do you remember Tank? No. Before moving to CWA. Great. Tell me a little bit.
What's he doing now?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't care.
The legacy of Tank or Mantaur.
Yes.
I remember.
Sorry.
I remember him because of Mantaur.
Yeah, but that's not. It's not a fond memory.
Would you have done that? Would you have? But if Vince McMahon had said,
"I look nothing like Mantaur."
Yeah, but.
Shut your face.
Would you have done that gimmick?
Shut your face, James Ellsworth.
If Vince, what the heck? I look nothing like James Ellsworth. I definitely have a chin.
We actually had a comment from someone on YouTube saying, "You really look like James Ellsworth. Are you James Ellsworth's brother?" There's a comment on YouTube. Yeah. It wasn't really. Tell me about Aldo Montoya.
I will.
Thanks,
I will
dude.
say about I personally, from my own experience of watching Aldo Montoya, I really liked his work. I thought he was a great high flyer. He had the mask, which is kind of odd when you see what he became. He had like a mask, and I think he was billed kind of like that kind of lucha, sort of vibe where he was doing loads of high flying moves, very colourful, green and red. I think his attire was. He had some good moments in terms of just good spots in matches. He did all right, but never really got anywhere in the Aldo Montoya gimmick. Usually used as an enhancement.
Does he stay around for long?
He is not around for long.
Okay.
He appears like he does all right as a mid-carder again between 94 and 97. But his biggest exposure came, as many will know, in ECW when he became one Just Incredible. Just Incredible, of course, had an incredible winning streak when he first joined ECW. 2 months, I think, when I suppose not really incredible by today's standards, but pretty decent back then.
Not Asuka levels.
Not Asuka levels. He did all right, and then he formed the Impact Players with Lance Storm, one of the greatest tag teams. I think statistically voted as one of the greatest tag teams of all time from this era, just because two great, particularly Lance Storm is an incredible in-ring technician, but fantastic, and they won the tag team titles at ECW. He won the World Heavyweight Championship as well and held it for 5 months, and obviously he was around that title and buzzed around there until the company folded in 2001. Had some incredible matches with the likes of Jerry Lynn, who also weirdly appeared. It was the first time I'd seen Jerry Lynn in years at All In. But so it was some fantastic stuff, some fantastic matches. Really great performer, very good promo as well. Never did as well when he got to WWE. He was one of the wrestlers taken on in the transition. He had a couple of goes with the hardcore. A couple of goes with the hardcore championship, or I think he won it about 7 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was also, not so notably, kind of infamously, in the X Factor, which was the one stable X-Pac got to lead with Albert.
Okay.
And just incredible. I thought it was great. Everybody else hated it, but that I would think it was great because I was a huge fan of 123 Kid. They were part of the Alliance and the Invasion angle. So of course, when that WCW ECW thing happened, which was really fun, I really liked it. Nobody else did again. He briefly returned to WWE in 2006 as part of their ill-fated ECW revamp.
Boom.
And that did not last very well.
I thought but it lasted a while, didn't it?
Not in.
It just didn't do very well.
Yeah, not in terms of the context.
No,
I think he had some matches. I think he had a match with CM Punk, and it didn't do very well there. He is currently training for an in-ring return, according to the dirt sheets. Whether that will be in WWE, we do not know.
Can't imagine.
But yeah, he is currently reserved for an in-ring return because he is semi-retired.
Cool. Well done.
Thank you.
Henry O'Godwinn. Godwin, sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah, the Godwins, man.
The Godwins.
The slap drop.
The slap drop. Had wrestled in WCW with a mask as the Shanghai Pierce. The reason he wrestled with a mask is because Dusty Rhodes came to him and said, "You cannot work as a heel because you are too good looking, so you need to wear a mask." So he wore a mask, and then that got taken up towards the end of his run. Henry Orpheus Godwin. What does that spell, Dom? Hog.
Which is funny.
Which is hilarious. I always remember his match with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, when he had was it called a slot bucket match or something?
Yeah, he had the slot bucket. That was his thing.
But he had like a pig pen, and then triple Hunter Hearst Helmsley ends up in the with all the piggies. Good times.
Our youth.
Let's rewatch it and see if we still enjoy it. Ended up in a tag team, the Godwins, managed by.
Who was that actually?
Hillbilly Jim.
Oh, there you go. I knew it was somebody notable.
He took a doomsday device from Legion of Doom, which I think this was about 97 time.
I think I remember this. Didn't he
cracked his vertebra, C7 vertebra, I believe. After returning to the ring too quickly, he later herniated the vertebra, leaving him to have spinal fusion surgery and forcing him into early retirement. He came back briefly in 2006, but was dropped soon after.
Was he come back in 2006? I'd like to watch that return.
Very briefly.
I think he was a great character.
And you've done Stephen Dunn. Dick Murdoch. Was
that me?
No, it's not you. It's a wrestler.
No.
Dick Murdoch.
I was like, was that mine? I was like, you put that was a lengthy pause.
Sorry.
I was like,
I was building up anticipation.
Didn't he come back as well? More recent times.
No, because he died.
Trevor Murdoch.
Right? Definitely not Dick Murdoch. He spent a lot of his very early career, like the 1960s, in a tag team with Dusty Rhodes. So sort of made his name off that, and he won the WWF Tag Team Championships with Adrian Adonis.
There you go.
He also had a tag team with Junkyard Dog, where he faced the fabulous Freebirds, and it was one of Mid-Southwest's biggest storylines at the time, with a JYD, which is ironic because he was a massive racist.
Oh.
Serious racist. So Dusty Rhodes has told a story that's out there about him going to a party, not knowing what party he was going to, and it ended up being a KKK meeting. He was a member of the KKK. Other people have told stories about him. Rocky Johnson, The Rock's father.
Course, yeah.
If you smell. Knocked him unconscious because he was hitting him too hard in the matches and stuff like this, and he said, if you do it again, I'm going to really hit you. And he knocked him unconscious during the match. There you go. He retired from wrestling a year after this event and died not long after in June 1996.
June 2096.
1996, yeah. See? Interesting. Not good. Not good at all, man. That's awful.
No, not at all.
How the world has changed as well, though. Has it changed?
Well,
I hope it has. I think it has. I think it has. I think the world's changed. Put the world to rights, Dom. Tell me this sort of stuff doesn't... I know it happens, but I don't want... It's not as bad, is it? I love people. I love anyone.
Carry on.
And if you can join us again now, because we're going to go run through the Rumble very quickly, and there's not a lot to say in it anyway. So, first off, special guest hostess Pamela Anderson.
I'll let you speed through.
Yeah, who will escort the winner of the 95 Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. It looks like Pamela is ready to rumble, grunts overly sexualized Vince. As Lawler just continues to go on about his date with her later on. I think there's quite a funny moment where he says he's taking her for a meal, and Vince goes, "Where's that to? Burger King?" I did a little chuckle. I did a little chuckle. Number 1 is Shawn Michaels. Number 2 is British Bulldog.
Which is interesting.
Why?
Because of the end.
Oh, right. But, right, I get what you're saying. I love the ending of this match. I think it's amazing, right?
Okay.
If you cut out the entire Rumble, you could have told the same story and a better story and everything. There is nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing noticeable about this Rumble. But we'll go into it. Davey Boy comes out strong with the delayed slam that we've seen quite a lot in World of Sport with Davey Boy Jr. recently.
Yeah, the last 4 is pretty interesting. You know, the whole with Luger's in there and
Crush.
But
I mean that's the last format. I mean it's not even that interesting. No, it's Luger.
Yeah, I know
and Crush.
The attacking of Owen and stuff before they get in the ring and stuff like that's notable, isn't it?
Yeah,
you have a couple of people getting attacked, which is all right. Yeah,
but then I've got issues. I'll talk about it when we get into it, if that's okay.
Yep.
So we get him holding Michaels into the air. I'm sure the Rumble numbers here are so much. They're not the 2 minutes. It's nowhere near 2 minutes. This is more like 60 seconds.
Okay.
And there's no
Wasn't that
time
a thing?
for
I'm sure that was a thing
back in.
I'm sure that was back in the day.
Normally, the last few Rumbles, the Ric Flair 92 Rumble, which is an awesome Rumble, by the way, the 91 Rumble, which we both really enjoyed. Go back and watch the 91 Rumble video. No, they're both the 2 minutes, 90 seconds,
I'm sure
2 minutes.
It became a thing for a while.
It's awful. It's so
60
quick.
60 minutes, 60 seconds.
I think it's just this one, but it's way too quick. You can't tell anything in the ring because all you've got is got someone else coming down. Part of the problem is there's no one notable in the Rumble, there's no big guys in the Rumble.
Luger and stuff at the time, I guess.
Luger was on his way out.
I suppose.
I mean,
Crush.
No, Crush was.
I liked Crush.
Yeah, he was okay, but he wasn't big. He wasn't.
All right, come on.
Do you get what I'm saying? Right. In no time at all, we get number 3, so that was my problem. And it's Eli Blue who goes straight after Bulldog. Bulldog tries to get him over the top ropes, and Bob Michaels, the dirty heels, tries to get them both out. Duke the dumpster Drozy goes after Michaels, bear hugging him whilst Michael pokes him in the eyes. That was quite a nice moment. Jimmy Del Rey is number 5. 5 time. It's already getting slow with all the focus on Michaels and Bulldog. The Michaels and the Bulldog is the story here, and everything else just is pointless. As Michaels nearly goes out all the time. Michaels did a great job.
He always did.
He is great in a Rumble. So is it Sion? Is that what you say? It's Sione, which was the new head shrinker we talked about him in the last episode. Bulldog takes out is number 6. He comes in, does nothing. Bulldog takes out Jimmy Del Rey with a clothesline. Sione no sells Michaels, ramming his head into a turnbuckle as no one can damage a head shrinker's head. I know, I get it. Tom Pritchard, Dr. Tom Pritchard from the Heavenly Bodies comes in next. Nothing really happens. Doink the Clown is number 8. Gets a big pop from the audience, man. Comes out with Dink, but didn't really...
Yeah, not a noticeable performance.
You've got potential with Doink to do something fun in the ring. You know, even that funny spot in a Rumble. It's fine.
Which I think has its place in every ring.
Absolutely. People running over Heath Slater as he comes in. Fine. That's funny. Right? It's okay. I can laugh at that. Doink, there was nothing. Quang still got his mask on. No green mist in this Rumble.
I loved his mist.
Yeah, but what really annoys me is the fact that WWE used this character against the Muta in the last Rumble, and he come out with a green mist to rub it in Muta's face, and then they didn't even carry it on for this next Rumble. Awful. He should have come out with a mist. Rick Martel is number 10. Rick Martel still going. Still looks exactly the same.
Looks alright, yeah.
Yeah. And there's way too many in the ring, and there's no stories playing in the ring apart from Michaels and Bulldog occasionally. Mm-hmm. Nothing else feels like any sort of story. Owen Hart, right? And finally, you're right. We get a little bit of storyline. So as Owen Hart's coming out, Bret Hart comes and attacks him, but that's not storyline within the Rumble, is it? It's still. So Bret Hart attacks him. He's on the floor. The timer starts counting down, and the camera's looking at Timothy Well, while Owen Hart has got into the ring and thrown out by a Bulldog. We don't even see Owen Hart getting pulled out. This was an opportunity. Owen going in was the opportunity to get rid of everyone else and put Bulldog, Owen, and Michaels together. Mm-hmm. It would have been a much more interesting Rumble. So Timothy Well comes in next. Thanks. Well done, Timothy Well, for making us miss the Owen Hart execution over the top rope Royal Rumble. As the entrance happens, the camera's missed. I've already said that. Shawn Michaels throws out Duke the Dumpster. The Bulldog tosses out Timothy Well. Sione tosses out Rick Martel. Tom Pritchard's eliminated by Michaels. Doink is on the apron, and Quang super kicks him out. But none of that means anything. There's no story getting to that.
Aside from the interactions with Owen and Backlund and all that stuff.
Bulldog and Michaels again. So they're left in the ring.
But that's before they even get in the ring. So
yeah, exactly. And speaking of not meaning anything whatsoever, Bushwhacker Luke comes out. The camera is focused on Luke. That's when Sione, Quang and Blue are eliminated, so we don't even see them being eliminated, leaving Michaels and Bulldog. And he doesn't last long, leaving us with Michaels and Bulldog. It's no time. Even when these two are left in the ring by themselves, because they're doing it 60 seconds, there's no time to do anything. Mm-hmm. They're just little digs. Mm-hmm. Jacob Blue goes to clothesline Michaels, but he tosses him over the top rope. Bulldog lifts Michaels on his shoulders and goes to throw him out. Again, that's sort of continuing the feud. King Kong Bundy comes out. Maybe a tiny bit of story here, but it wasn't necessarily a good story. They show the Owens elimination at this point. Thank God they showed it, because if not, he should have stayed, man. Yeah, he should have stayed.
Yeah, it wouldn't have meant anything.
Mo comes in, runs in, thrown out by Bundy immediately. Nothing there. Bundy goes for the scoop slam on Bundy, Bulldog goes for the scoop slam on Bundy, but can't lift him. Michaels is selling that he's knackered and leaves Bundy and Bulldog at it. Michaels, a good job again, sort of sees them two go out and just goes, and then just goes sit in the corner. Funny, good, heel. Mabel is next down. So we've got Mabel and Bundy, so there should be
nice.
There should be, right? Do you remember the 93 Rumble where you had that meeting of Earthquake and Yokozuna, and it felt like something, and they actually did a little bit with it.
Yeah, but
they do out with it. They sort of meet up, square up.
It would have been wicked.
Big guy.
It would have been wicked though.
Could have been. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I don't know if it could, because I don't think Bundy had it anymore since he come back. I think it's. I'm not saying Mabel.
I feel like
he
looked
Bundy.
like a legitimate threat for the Undertaker, but anyway.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And then they just sort of exchange fists a little bit, so we get this big build up for just fists, and then it's the over the top rope, and it's a really long drawn out trying to get Bundy out, and eventually he goes out. It could have been so much more though, that sort of thing, and it wasn't. Bushwhacker Butch thrown out by Michaels, doesn't matter. Lex Luger, 19, comes in and throws out Mabel. Yeah, why didn't we have Bulldog and Mabel versus Luger and Michaels? The heel racing didn't really.
Probably time.
Why did Lex Luger throw out Mabel?
Because
he gets out the big guy.
Rumble.
Mantaur. Wow. I wonder why WCW was winning the Monday Night War. Like, not very long. I wonder why. Aldo Montoya next, looking like an early version of the Hurricane. I thought, yeah. Henry O'Godwinn next. El Famo goes after Mantaur. El Famo.
Okay.
We've got El Famo versus El Mantaur.
Okay. All right.
Bulldog is attacking Michaels in the ring. Again, good to see them two continuing the thing. But all of this other rubbish, the Farmer versus Mantaur, it just distracts from that. Yeah. Sorry, I know you like this, but like rewatching it, I was just so bored. Billy Gunn.
It was pure entertainment, I think. Pure silly entertainment. And I remember I'm a kid at this time.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Mantaur, Billy Gunn going after Mantaur. That's right, he's still in there. Bart Gunn comes in, so we have a tag team in. Could get interesting, unfortunately it doesn't. Lex is attacking a hog farmer. Yay. Bob Backlund comes in. Bret Hart comes out again and attacks him into the ring. Payback again. I quite like that.
Yep.
I quite like that.
Goes straight out almost.
Stephen Dunn comes in. As soon as Stephen Dunn comes in is when Backlund gets in the ring and gets taken out straight away. And we go to the cameras showing Bret and Backlund. But while all this is happening, we're not seeing anything in the ring. So these 60-second things, that's what I'm saying. There was nothing happening. Dick Murdoch comes in, sort of an 80s wrestler. It's quite similar in figure to maybe a slightly slimmer Dusty Rhodes. Comes in, gets no real pop. It's not like a returning great, it's a bit weird.
Just a weirdo.
Yeah, not a very nice man. No. Adam Bomb next, baby. Adam Bomb does nothing to the ring.
Adam Bomb, baby.
Possibly the third best performer in the Rumble enter next. Fatu actually did a couple of decent spots.
It's a great performance.
Goes straight after Billy Gunn, and it was a nice little exchange, but again, too much going on, too many people in the ring. Luger bounces the ring ropes to Mantaur to get him out. Yeah, he's sort of doing that and then throws him out. So the last man is Crush, number 30. Bart and Billy Gunn are attacking each other. They get tossed out by, I think it was Aldo, I think. They're trying to eliminate each other. I don't know why, because we don't really see anything. Rumble, yeah. Well done. Dunn is eliminated by him. Dunn is done. Smooth. We get a split screen of Pamela Anderson. It gets more interesting because there's something happening on the screen that's not the wrestling that's in the ring, and it's instantly more entertaining. There's not. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative. If you go back and watch it, like, look, this Rumble will always be one of the greatest moments in Rumble history. Always will be. For the end. There was nothing to build up that end there. The Bulldogs and Michaels did what they could in a really bad situation. Man, I don't know. Right, here we go. If they'd put it as 2 minutes, I don't know if it would have just been too long because they had no decent feuds and storylines going into it. And that's the problem. It was just bad writing. Dick Murdoch tries to get Fatu out with a junkyard dog headbutt, which really looked daft. Crush takes out Adam Bomb, baby! Crush gets a clothesline from hell on Fatu. It's great, man. Fatu delivers an awesome super kick.
He's great.
It was awesome. But what Fatu does that no one else does in this match, apart from maybe Michaels, I wouldn't even say Bulldog, I'd just say Michaels. What he does is he knows how to get the attention at the right time and then fade into the background. Mm-hmm. And he goes into the middle and he delivers this spot, and it's good, entertaining, good to watch. Explanation points in a match, that's what you need in a Rumble. Murdoch spins Godwinn on his back before Michael connects with Godwinn's foot, which comedy spot, but whatever. When trying to get him out, Murdoch sends himself out. Final 5, we see Luger and Bulldog forming an alliance. Future tag team, maybe? Future tag team, maybe show. Luger then takes out Godwinn. So, the final 4 is Michaels, Bulldog, Crush, and Luger. Not the best, man.
It's not too bad, actually. It could be worse.
Luger, Crush.
It could be worse.
Yeah. What if it was Michaels, Bulldog, Owen?
Amazing.
And who else? Who else would you put in the final 4? from this match?
I think to be honest, I think the strongest one.
Fatu did well, but I don't think.
But it would have been Luger.
Probably Mabel.
Maybe it would have been good.
Mabel.
His time wasn't yet. Anyway.
Yeah, cool. It's coming up very soon, though, baby.
It is.
Michaels and Crush double team Luger whilst beating off Bulldog. Luger fights them off, and whilst trying to pummel Crush in the corner, he's pushed out by Michaels. He talks with Crush to attack the Bulldogs. Michaels, the big heel, is going to work with the team. This is okay. This is all okay. This is story, right? But we don't need to wait to the final four to get to it. Shawn Michaels says, "Trust me" to Crush. We see that sort of "trust me," him mimic "trust me," and they both start laying the feet into Bulldog before a big double clothesline, and then afterwards Crush turns on Michaels. I wasn't expecting to see that. I was expecting to see Michaels super kick him out at some point and just him to go. It doesn't do him any good as his Bulldog clotheslines him out there. So we've gone from 1-1 and we're at Michaels and Bulldog. I get that. I get the story. That's great. Everything else around it, rubbish. Okay, nice running knee from Bulldog to Michaels, who really sold it as devastating. It looked great. I think you would come when I was watching it. It looks. It looks amazing. Davey Boy lifts him in the air and drops him in between his legs on the top rope. It's one of these moments where you think he's going to go, but he actually lands up getting injured himself. Looked great, like a good spot, and it didn't look like Bulldog was guiding him onto it. It just sort of dropped him and let him fall. Michaels was so good at making that look like that as well, though. He takes out Michaels over the top rope with a clothesline. Michaels holds on. We sort of see the camera pull
Bulldog
away.
Celebrating.
We see Bulldog celebrating. He thinks he's won. The music starts playing. British Bulldog music starts playing.
Really excited.
Really good,
fan,
yeah. And then Michaels comes as he's celebrating on the turnbuckle and pushes him off.
Yeah, you see a shot of both referees. Checking the legs, and it's really well done actually. Michaels does really well here.
It is great
to keep one foot on the floor constantly.
One foot on the floor,
not really constantly, but just on and off. Just 1 foot. Really well done.
I was listening to Bruce Pitcher podcast the other day, and he was saying, I keep talking about it. I shouldn't even say that where I get all my research from, but he was talking about this Michaels Rumble, and he was saying like we had no worries that it wouldn't happen because I was asking like, did you have a backup plan? And I was like, no, we knew that Michaels would. Yeah. If he said he'd make it happen, he'd make it happen, and he did, and and it is awesome. Brilliant. We see a video replay of Michaels touching 1 foot on the floor. I mean, this is iconic. It's that stuff that we was talking about in the playgrounds. You know, did he touch 1 foot on the floor, causing arguments with family and stuff like that? Great wrestling. I think it was a little soon after the dodgy finish of '94. Yeah. I would have probably given it another year. And I think it's the worst Rumble we've seen, but
one of the best endings we've seen.
One of the best endings.
On the whole, I was impressed with. I'd either give it to the tag match as a best match. I mean, I like Pamela Anderson celebrating with Michaels at the end.
Oh, that was funny, man! And it starts like pelvic thrust twerking. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, that was a nice moment. But I think the best moment would have been either the tag team win or. Trying to think, I think that's probably one of my favourite matches of the night. The Diesel Bret Hart match was great.
Which one was your favourite then? Diesel or the tag team?
Diesel and Bret Hart, I think.
Yeah, I think Diesel and Bret Hart. It's really good storytelling, isn't it? Really good storytelling. Best performer. It's a hard one. Do you give it to Michaels for that awesome spot, or do you go?
I'd say Michaels.
Yeah, probably because it is an awesome spot.
Yeah, and
there's no denying that, and it'll forever be etched in our memories. How many stars are you giving this? 2. I'm going to go 2 as well.
Cool. Good.
Awesome.
Good.
If you've enjoyed the podcast, I'm sorry this has been a long one, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit us up on Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram. Dom's been keeping that. You have got an Instagram apparently, or Tumblr. You did one of them. Tumblr.
We haven't got an Instagram yet, but we should get one.
Add us on Tumblr. And check us out on Redbubble and Patreon, where you can get mugs and t-shirts and stuff. And if you've enjoyed us, thank you so much for keeping with us.
Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Keep it gay.